Title of today's lesson is The Great Tribulation. Title of today's lesson is The Great Tribulation. Now, brothers and sisters, one of the greatest tools of Satan, the devil, today is deception. The Lord Jesus said, many will come in his name saying that he is the Christ and deceive many. That's why most of us end up in the Sunday church, because that preacher stood before you and said that Jesus was Lord, but then he deceived you. The church in Revelation 17 has not only made the kings of the earth drunk, they have made the people drunk as well. People believe in sunrise service. You know they got to be drunk. People believe in killing trees on December the 25th. And people believe in this 7-day tribulation, 7-year tribulation. Now, brothers and sisters, what's significant about that is if you get caught in the Great Tribulation, the only way that you can get in the kingdom of God is let them kill you, because they're going to try to put the mark of Satan the devil on you physically. It is obvious to me that people like being drunk because they not only are not reading their Bibles, they're listening to the lies of these preachers. The ministers use Daniel, the 9th chapter, from verses 24 to 27 to deceive you and to prove that there's a 7-year tribulation. These verses are about the people, which is the Jews, our people, the holy city, which is Jerusalem, and the Messiah, which is Jesus. Now today, me and Nehemiah is going to show you, even before we start the lesson, that the tribulation period is only 3.5 years. That's why I wrote it on the board. Those that take notes, write those scriptures down. But we're going to hit them real quick before we start the lesson, because the tribulation period is only 3.5 years, sisters and brothers. But those nice, pristine, sharp-dressed ministers on your TV, they're going to sell you a 7-year tribulation, and if they sell it to you, it's going to kill you in the end. Everybody understand me?
Yes, sir.
So now, we're going to start in Daniel 7, because before I actually even get into the lesson, I'm going to show you all these places where you can prove that the tribulation is only 3.5 years. So Daniel 7 and verse 25. Daniel 7 and verse 25. 7 and verse 25. What does it say, brother?
And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High.
Now this man of sin, or the book calls the abomination that we're going to read later on. He going to wear out the saints of the Most High. Go ahead and read.
And think to change times and laws.
Which he's already done that. That's why people are going to church on Sunday. We're in Daniel 7 and 25 in the middle. Go ahead and read.
And they shall be given into his hand until a time.
Time is 1 year. Go ahead.
In times.
Times with an S is 2 years. That's 3 years. Go ahead.
In the dividing of time.
That's 6 months. The Lord is clear about how long this terrible time in human history is going to be. Let's go to Daniel 12 and verse 7. Now this time period is called a number of things. It is called the time of Jacob's trouble. You can read that in Jeremiah 30 and 7. It is called the hour of temptation, and it's called the Great Tribulation. This is going to be a terrible time in human history. And in the lesson, I'm going to show you how bad this is going to be. We're going to, Daniel 12 and 7. What does it say, brother?
And I heard the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters of the river, when he had held up his right hand and his left hand unto heaven, and swear by him that liveth forever that it shall be.
Go ahead.
For a time.
1 year.
Times.
That's another 2 years.
And a half.
6 months. 3.5 years again. Go ahead and finish that.
And when he shall have accomplished to scatter the power of the holy people, all these things shall be finished.
You see what it said? To scatter the holy people. Because some of us with understanding is not going to get out of that time period. Some of us are going to die during that time period. Because this man understands dark sentences. He know how to deal with you. Let's go to Revelation, the 11th chapter. Revelation 11.
Yes, sir.
And some of us with great understanding is going to get caught in that time. Everybody with understanding is not going to make it to that tribulation period. And they got the world set up for it right now. During Lent, they got a time called Ash Wednesday. Everybody know that. Everybody see people walking around with the sign of the cross and ashes on their forehead. That is a precursor to the mark of the beast. God don't require you to walk around with nothing on your forehead. He requires that you have something in your head.
Yes,
Y'all
sir.
understand?
Yes, sir.
So now, Revelation 11 and 2. Revelation 11 and 2. Here he's going to read 2 and 3. What it say, brother?
But the court which is without the temple leave out, and measure it not, for it is given unto the Gentiles. In the holy city shall they tread underfoot 42 months.
Everybody in here got a car note. Or, well, maybe not everybody. But then a car note, you know what 3.5 years is, 42 months. The Lord is spelling it out for you because what God is doing, he is giving you a look into the future from the past. This Bible has been here forever. But his servants, all the stuff y'all do for the Lord. You keep Passover, you keep unleavened bread, you cook for the feast. The Lord is preparing you for what is to come.
Yes, sir.
That is what he's doing. He always gives you a look into the future and how to save yourself at the time appointed. What verse are you? Verse 3? Go ahead and read.
And I will give power unto my 2 witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days.
Now that's 1,260 days, which is 3.5 years.
Yes, sir.
Did you finish that?
Clothed in sackcloth.
Now, let's go to Revelation, the 12th chapter. We're going to pick it up at verse 6. This is for all the people that take notes and all the people that want to know what's going on. That's why I'm doing this prior to the lesson. So you'll have it in your notes whenever somebody approach you with that 7-year tribulation theory. We're going to pick it up at verse 6. Revelation 12 and verse 6. What it say?
And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she have a place prepared of God, that they should feed her there 1,260 days.
Again, 1,260 days. But notice what that say. Who is that woman? The woman is the church. And she is going to go to a place prepared of God for you. See, the Lord is warning you. He is trying to get you to understand what you're doing is not in vain. And later on, he's going to promise you, if you keep his word, he's going to get you out of this terrible time called the Great Tribulation.
Amen.
Now,
Amen.
verse, did you finish 6?
Yes, sir.
Verse 14, what did it say?
And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place, where she is nourished for a time.
1 year.
In times.
That's another 2 years.
And a half a time.
Go ahead.
From the face of the serpent.
See, we are not only running from the abomination of desolation, we are running from the one that sent the abomination, which is the serpent. Let's go into the 3rd chapter, and we're going to read one verse, verse 5, and then we're going to get into the lesson. 3 and verse 5. Don't get caught asleep during this time. Some of us older heads might be dead during this time. And that's probably the safest place for you. But during this time, anything can happen. And if anybody tell you they know what's going to happen during this time, you look them in the eye and you tell them you are a liar because you do not know. You do not know if you're going to take the mark or not. Because they're going to threaten to kill your children. They're going to do all kind of stuff to you. In Luke, it talks about men are going to fall out from heart attacks because this is going to be a terrible time. See, the Lord has drawn a line in the sand. Do you believe you can talk all you want, how much you love the Lord and hallelujah and all that? He's going to make you prove it during this time.
Yes, sir.
If you don't get to that wilderness when this man of sin go in the temple, the Lord going to make you prove if you love him or not. So we're going to pick it up at verse 5. 13, Revelation 13 and verse 5. What does it say, brother?
He that overcometh, the same shall be clothed in white raiment. And I will not blot out his name out of the book of life.
Wait a minute. Revelation
3?
13.
Oh, 13. Okay.
13.
Sorry about that.
Revelation 13 and 5.
Okay.
That's all right.
I believe you said 3
13
first.
and 5.
All right, 3. Okay, verse 5.
Go ahead.
And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies. And power was given unto him to continue 42 months.
Again, 42 months, 1,260 days, times and dividing the time. We just read 7 times where the Lord told you this great period in human history is going to be 3.5 years. We just read that to you.
Right.
So now, we're going to get started. We're going to go to Matthew, the 24th chapter. Matthew 24. I'm sorry. We're going to go to Isaiah, the 46th chapter. Isaiah 46. And we're going to pick it up at verse 9. Isaiah 46 and verse 9. That's where we're going to start. Because I want to show you that the Lord is called the end from the beginning. The Lord brought the children of Israel out of Egypt, didn't he?
Yes,
and where
sir.
did he take them? Into the wilderness, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
He going to bring the church out of this world, and he going to take them into the wilderness. He has been letting you know from day one, if you keep the commandments, I am going to remove you from this terrible time that is to come. But you got to do this yourself. Isaiah 46 and verse 9. Isaiah 46 and verse 9. What does it say?
Remember the former things of old.
Yes.
For I am God, and there is none else. I am God, and there is none like me.
Go ahead.
Declaring the end from the beginning.
Y'all see what it said? Declaring the end from the beginning. Go ahead and read.
And from ancient times the things that are not yet done. Saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure.
See, he's letting you know, once the word go out, it cannot come back void. If he put it out there, it's going to happen. And ain't nobody can stop it.
Yes, sir.
Just like he turned the water to wine back in the days of Moses, to blood, he going to turn the water to blood in the last days. He don't have to change because you can't stop him. This man cannot stop him. So he's going to do the exact same thing. Let's go to Isaiah, the 34th chapter. Back up to the 34th chapter. Isaiah 34. We're going to read one verse. Because the only protection you have is you reading from it. It's right on your lap. It's sitting in front of you. Anything, the oracles of God is in that book that you are reading. You want to know something, you call and you ask one of the teachers. Because this is a time that the book called the most terrible time in human history. And we're going to read that as well. And I'm going to show you how bad the time really is going to be. So we're going to read one verse, 34 and verse 16. What it say?
Seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read.
You see that? Out of the book of the Lord and read, sisters and brothers. Because this is your salvation right here. You need to know what the Lord is going to do, when he's going to do it, and why he's going to do it. You don't need to watch no guy on TV lie to you about what's going to happen. If he reads something out of the book and TV, get your book, and you read it right along with him. If it don't say what he says saying, cut the TV off.
Right.
Because he's trying to cut you off. Finish that.
No one of these shall fail. None shall want her mate. For my mouth it have commanded.
Yes.
And his spirit it have gathered them.
You see what he said? His mouth commanded. So it's going to happen. Now let's go together. Let's go to Revelation, the 3rd chapter. Let's go to Revelation 3. So I'm just giving you, I'm a watchman. My job is to warn you. The Lord tell you he's going to kill everything on the east side of the street. We are going to the west side of it.
Yeah.
Because the Lord warns his servants in advance. Sunday Christians, they ain't got no idea what's about to come up on this world. And we know it's coming because we know who the 10 toes on the Statue of Revelation is. We know that they got the priests, they raising up the priests in Jerusalem. We know that the cornerstone is there. We know that the red heifer is being brought over there, even though it ain't got nothing to do with nothing. The Lord warns you in advance, brothers and sisters.
Right.
Take heed to his warning. Revelation 3 and verse 7. Revelation 3 and verse 7. He's going to read 7 and 8, and then he's going to skip to verse 10. 7 and 8, and then he's going to skip to verse 10. Go ahead and read.
And to the angel of the church in Philadelphia write, these things saith he that is holy, he that is true, he that is the key of David, he that openeth and no man shutteth, and shutteth and no man openeth.
See, that's the door of your mind. Can't nobody shut the doors of your mind but you. So now once you get this word, Jesus told you he's going to come sup with you if you let him in. But you got to let him in. Go ahead and read.
I know thy works. Behold, I have set before thee an open door, and no man can shut it.
Go ahead.
For thou hast a little strength, and hast kept my word, and
Notice
has
what
not.
he said, but have kept my word. Those that has kept his word. Finish that.
And has not denied my name.
Verse 10.
Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation,
Go ahead.
which shall come upon all the world.
Stop. You see what it said? That is really important. He said, you keep the word, he going to keep you from the hour of temptation that is going to come up on all the world. This is going to be a worldwide situation here. This is not just going to operate in the east and the west when they come across the Euphrates River. This is going to be worldwide because the Catholic Church is worldwide. Everybody is going to side up. The east going to side up. The west, which is America's end, it's going to side up. It's going to be a world war. And when them Russians and them Chinese come across that Euphrates River, they're going to kill everything in their path. And we're going to read that today. Everything in their path. What verse are you?
The end of 10.
Finish it.
To try them that dwell upon the earth.
Excuse me. You see what it said? To try the people that dwell upon earth. Just like the Lord tried Job, he's going to try the rest of the world. That's why it's important that you keep your garments white and you try to get to that wilderness.
Yes, sir.
Because it's going to be hard for you to hide for 3.5 years, especially if you don't have a mark, because you can't buy nor sell. Your gas going to get cut off. Your light's going to get cut off. You won't be able to buy groceries. It's going to be hard to protect yourself during that time period. Now, let's go to Matthew the 24th chapter. Matthew 24. And we're going to start, we're going to have Brother Nehemiah pick it up at verse 3. Matthew 24. And the Lord talks about this in prophecy and straight talk all through the Bible. This time is coming, brothers and sisters. It is coming. Everybody got it? Verse 3. What does it say?
And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world?
Notice what he asked. What shall be a sign of your coming? We're going to read about the sign and the end. But it's not the end of the world like you take a can and you rip it in half and you ball it up, throw it in the garbage. The end of this world, this sinful world, he's going to cut sin clean out of this world. That's why so many people are going to die. He's going to cut the cancer right out of this earth. That's why in other places it's called a new heaven and a new earth. It ain't going to be no new heaven or no new earth. It's just he's going to take all the sin and the killing out of it. Because I have never known this earth the way there was no killing going on and all of that. So to me, that's new. So now, what verse are you?
Verse 4.
Continue.
And Jesus answered and said unto them,
Right out the door, look what he said.
Take heed that no man deceive you.
Go ahead.
For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many.
Skip down to verse 11 and continue.
And many false prophets shall arise, and shall deceive many.
Go ahead.
And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold.
Notice what it said, because sin is abound. That's what iniquity is. The love of many shall wax cold. And that's what is happening out there right now. You scared to offer somebody a ride because they might kill you out here. Even if it's one of you sisters out here that is harmless, people are scared of you because they don't know what's going to happen. Because the love of many has waxed cold. Skip down to verse 14 and continue. What does it say?
And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations.
Again, all nations. It shall be preached into all the world, into all nations, because this is a worldwide tribulation. Go ahead and read.
And then shall the end come.
Go ahead.
When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet stand in the holy place,
Go ahead.
whoso readeth, let him understand.
Now, sisters and brothers, when I came up in the church, we were taught not to read the Old Testament. Now, as far as I know, Daniel is in the Old Testament, ain't it?
Yes, sir.
So now, if I didn't read the Old Testament, how would I know this sign right here?
Right.
Because this is your sign right here. This is your sign to flee. When he told the church to flee, when you see this, flee. Read that next verse. Let me show you what I'm talking about.
Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains.
See, flee. When you see him go in that temple, flee. Because once he go in there, he's going to declare himself God and say the devil is going to give him some of his supernatural power. And he's going to operate under the power of Satan. Ain't going to be no talking him out of it. He's going to deal with you. Skip down to verse 21. What it say?
For then shall be great tribulation.
And then shall be great tribulation. Go ahead.
Such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time. No, nor ever shall be.
Now skip up to verse 17 and read that.
Let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house.
Now I just put that in there because I want y'all to see this is a terrible time. He wants you in a hurry. Don't go back home. Don't go take your stuff. Get up out of here. Because this man is going to deal with you if you don't. Read the next verse, verse 18. What it say?
Neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes.
Go ahead.
And woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days.
Y'all see my point? You better not go back home. And sisters, if you pregnant during this time, you in a world of trouble. Because if you don't have a mark, ain't no medical care for you. And don't let it be in the wintertime because you're going to be messed up. So the Lord is letting you know how urgent this time is. Let's go to Daniel, the 12th chapter. Daniel 12. All the signs are falling in place. We are looking at this. They got a program on TV called Dig. And the program is about the last days. How the priest going to go in the temple, sacrifice the animal, dedicate the temple. Because them Edomites over there, they died to build this temple. That's all they think about. Their heart is every time their heart beat, it's about the temple. And all the prophecy is coming to pass. But this program is pulling the coat off of this thing. Because they're hiding the truth from you in plain sight. It's right there. They got the priests set up. They got it all set up. They telling you they're going to build a temple. They telling you they're going to offer this red heifer. They telling you that out right through the program. But ain't nobody paying attention. You know why? Because there ain't no naked women in there and there ain't no rap music. You understand? We like that kind of stuff. No football, no basketball. We like that. That's why we don't pay no attention. But you better open your eyes to this, because if you get caught in this, like the book say, woe unto you. So now, Daniel 12 and 1. He's going to skip, after you read 1, he's going to skip to 5. Daniel 12 and 1. What it say?
And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble.
Notice what he said. There shall be a time of trouble. Go ahead.
Such as never was since there was a nation, even unto that same time.
Go ahead.
And at that time thy people shall be delivered, and everyone that shall be found written in the book.
So if you found written in the book of life, you going to be delivered. But if you not, it's a 50-50 chance that you're going to be killed, or you're going to take the mark of the beast. But notice what he read. He said, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. This was a terrible time. There's no time coming on this earth like this. I'm going to show you what I mean. In 1918, the Spanish influenza, it started in March of 1918. It was responsible for the death of 2 million to 4 million people in Asia, Europe, and North America. This time we're reading about, it's going to be worse than that. The Black Death in 1348. It swept through Europe from 1348 to 1351. It was estimated that 25 to 60% of the European population died. That's 75 to 200 million people died during that time. This time we reading about going to be worse than that. The Lord says never going to be a time like this when this tribulation period starts, because it's going to be worldwide and ain't no stopping it until it's over. World War II, 60 million people died. Vietnam War, it was estimated between 1.3 and 3.9 million people died. The tribulation period is going to be worse than that. This is why we do the heavy lifting. This is why we come to class. This is why we serve the King of Israel.
Amen.
So he can protect us at the time appointed. Skip down to verse 5, brother, and read that. What it say?
Then I, Daniel, looked, and behold, there stood other two, the one on the side of the bank of the river, and the other on that side of the bank of the river. And one said to the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters of the river, how long shall it be to the end of these wonders?
So he asked the question. Now, how long shall it be until all this is over? Go ahead and read.
And I heard the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters of the river, when he held up his right hand and his left hand unto heaven, and swear by him that liveth forever, that it shall be for a time, times and a half. And when he shall have accomplished to scatter the power of the holy people, all these things shall be finished.
See, once that happens, it's finished. But for 3.5 years, the question was asked, how long shall this be? He said for 3.5 years. Now, let's go to Revelation, the 2nd chapter. Revelation 2, we're going to pick it up at verse 8. The Lord has put this in a book for a reason. He talked to you about the fruits of the Spirit. He talks to you about being born of the water. All this to get you to this point.
Mm-hmm.
We in churches where we don't get along too good, snapping at one another, always backbiting and all that. You better get your act together if you want to get out of this situation.
Right.
Because that's what this is about, the way you conduct yourself. Older brothers, be cool to the young brothers. Talk to them like they got some sense. Young brothers, be respectful to the older brothers and sisters. This is how you going to get out of this thing. This is where your blessings come from. This tribulation is to try you. It's to try you, brothers and sisters. Skip down Revelation 2 and verse 8. Revelation 2 and verse 8. Because he said when he go into the temple, flee, didn't he?
Sir.
Now we need to find out who's going to build this temple. Let's see who's going to build the temple. Verse 8, what it say?
And unto the angel of the church of Smyrna write, these things saith the first and the last, which was dead and is alive.
Now everybody in this room know who that is, right? The first and the last. He was dead and now he's alive. Who is that?
Jesus.
That's Jesus. So now the angel said, this is what he said. Go ahead and read.
Verse 9. I know thy works in tribulation and poverty,
Go ahead.
but thou art rich.
Go ahead.
And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan.
So these are the people who say they are Jews and are not. If you think I'm lying, if you got a computer or a smartphone, put in Third Temple in your phone. You can see who's going to build the temple. They talking about it every day, on the internet, on the news, every day. But what are we busy doing? Being saved, sanctified, and diving under them chairs and all that. You ain't got no time to be under no chair. You got to run when the time appointed. Now let's see what else these people going to do. Let's go to Daniel the 8th chapter. Daniel 8. And I'm with y'all. We laugh, we joke, we talk about this, but this is serious here. The way you conduct yourself is going to determine if you get there or not.
Mm-hmm.
I've been looking, searching.